Welcome to ZeroOutages Edge2WAN Client Start Guide. I'm going to walk you through the necessary steps in deploying the ZeroOutages service. For the service to work properly, you will need to have two internet connections. For an example as to how to configure the ZeroOutages service with a secondary DSL link, please review our how-to videos for a detailed step-by-step deployment. Today, the ZeroOutages service must run on a Windows platform. This can be Vista, 7, 8, or Server 2008 and above. Importantly, you must have software installation privileges in order to install the ZeroOutages service. If you are able to change the network interface information, then you should have the correct privileges. If you would like to have the ZeroOutages service operate as a gateway for your entire local area network, then there will be some additional steps that you must take after you finish this basic service setup. These steps are outlined in our How to Deploy ZeroOutages as a LAN Gateway video. The next step is to determine the IP address information which is configured for your primary and secondary internet connections. This is the 4-digit address which your internet service provider has assigned to you, or it is the address that was assigned to you via your local network gateway. The IP address assigned to your computer, the subnet associated with the IP address, and the gateway address. If you do not know this information, please contact your internet service provider or your assigned IT personnel. For an example of how to obtain the ISP address and gateway information, please review the how-to video on obtaining your IP address information. Once you have obtained the correct information, you need to make sure that you have 2 or more physical connections to the network from the computer on which the ZeroOutages service is installed. If you already have 2 network interface cards and need assistance configuring them, please watch our how-to video for assistance with configuring your network adapters. If you only have a single network interface card, as is the case with most computers, then ZeroOutages has provided a USB to Ethernet adapter which you can use to establish a secondary network connection. View our how-to video for assistance with installing the USB adapter. Once you have each of the network interfaces, you should be able to ping the gateway address that is assigned to each physical network. View our video, How to Test the Network Adapters, for more information on this process. Once the network adapters have been configured and tested, it is now time to install the ZeroOutages Edge2WAN Client software in order to complete the service setup process. Download the software to the Windows system and launch the setup executable for the Edge2WAN Client. You will first be prompted to enter the appropriate registration code and license key. You can then copy and paste this information from the email or other means in which they were provided. Complete the installation wizard and then proceed to start the ZeroOutages settings application. The ZeroOutages service will not start without the settings being correct. The link tab is the most important. The IP address and gateway information must be properly configured. The application will attempt to determine this information automatically, but you need to confirm that it is correct. This is the information that you originally obtained in the earlier step of configuring the network interfaces. The weight refers to the usage rate of each network. Change the weight depending on your bandwidth or set it to 1 for an even distribution. Lastly, ensure that each network interface that you wish to use boxes are checked under the active column and press OK. Now you can launch the ZeroOutages shortcut from your Start menu. Your final step will be to open up your preferred web browser. If your home page does not load, open your Internet options and check the proxy settings. For a quick review, within each web browser, the proxy settings should be configured for only the HTTP. The address should be 127.0.0.1 with port 8800 by default. This should be configured on the computer that has ZeroOutages installed. If you're using the gateway configuration that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, then your IP address will be that of the ZeroOutages computer instead of the 127.0.0.1. For assistance with making changes to your proxy settings, please watch How to Configure Your Web Browser video. Once the web browser is configured, you should be able to test your link bonding speed and failover capabilities.